So I've had the BILT Mastercard for a little over a year now, and over that past year, I've actually been able to get a tremendous amount of value in a lot of ways that are very, very unique, in ways that you've probably never heard before. And that is even despite all the crazy changes we've had in the last month, as in like Build ending points quest and no longer able to get those 250 points every single month, even though a lot of people mention there's no skill involved and people just answer the questions that are posted on Reddit. Also, the fact on rent day where you can have all of your multipliers doubled, like 6x dining, 4x on travel, that has now been limited from 10,000 bonus points you can earn on a single day down to just $1,000 in one single day, which is going to be effective October 1st. So we just have a couple more months where we can earn, 10,000 points by charging 50,000 things on one day, right? And that's also not even factoring in everybody who got this card, prior to a couple of years ago when the card was issued by Evolve Bank. People who have had the Evolve cards are being affected. Like even Cal BNG had to reapply for his BILT Mastercard because his was an Evolve Bank card and is now going to be canceled completely on December 31st, 2024, to which they would have you reapply for new BILT cards. This way it's issued by Wells Fargo and not by Evolve Bank. Of course, on top of that is the crazy headline that a lot of people took and ran with, that they're losing 10 million per month. Who really knows? Who really cares? We're in this game for a different reason. That is to get outsized returns on our vacations, outsized returns on our points, and spend back every single day. And that's exactly what I've gotten out of the BILT Mastercard. And like I said at the beginning, in very, very unique ways you've never heard before. Because what if I told you that the amount of value I've gotten over this past year did not come from paying my rent on the BILT Mastercard and getting those transaction fees that you normally pay on apartment complexes completely waived? No, I have not used my BILT card to pay for rent once. And I also haven't been using it to book travel, haven't used it for dining. I haven't even really used it for rent day that much in the last 10 months, but I'm starting to use it a little bit going forward. And also, I guess just as a disclaimer, to get all those points, you have to use the card 5 times every single month. Okay, cool. So no, all of the things that you typically would get value from on the BILT card, I have not used it for. But there is one reason why the BILT Mastercard is one of the most powerful cards I actually have in my wallet today, for the reason you may not even realize, unless you watch this channel a little bit, but you might know that the most value that I'm reaping from this card all have to do with this card being a World Elite Mastercard. And I know some of you might have saw that coming. Maybe some of you are in dark about World Elite Mastercard, but there are a tremendous amount of benefits that I've gotten just by it being a World Elite Mastercard that I'm going to share with you today. And given from my last video, since so many people were unaware and asking me to make a video dedicated towards all of the benefits from World Elite Mastercards, like the BILT card, this one is for you. Okay, so first and foremost, Upgraded Points here has a good entire list of everything that World Elite Mastercards actually give you, and I'm going to run through and just give you my experience on a lot of them here. And this is just a quick overview of what these cards actually get you. So the normal cell phone protection, car rentals, trip cancellation, all stuff you would get on higher end cards. But the things I really want to isolate today are Mastercard Luxury Hotel Program, if you're not tired of hearing that already, and there are a few other things down below. If you're unfamiliar, there are a bunch of other World Elite Mastercard cards like the Chase Freedom Flex, City Strata Premier, Double Cash, Saver One, BILT Mastercard, of course, all these different cards, ones of which I don't have, but I do have the BILT card. But the first thing that most people were surprised by, that I was surprised that people actually cared, was that, like, I was talking about, cancel the platinum and people like to use their Peacock. Well, people didn't realize that the World Elite Mastercards already give you, as long as you sign up with your World Elite Mastercard or World Mastercard, and it says the offer ends March 31st, 2025, but usually these things just get, pushed and pushed and pushed back. You end up getting $3 back on just a Peacock premium subscription, and then $5 back on a Premium Plus subscription just by having a no annual fee World Elite Mastercard. So that was the thing that actually most people were excited about, which I was surprised about. But if you guys are unaware, you can get that with your World Elite Mastercards. Okay, cool. Another thing that shocked a lot of people when we mentioned this not too long ago was that you actually get status through car rental companies, as in presidential circle status on Hertz. So everybody who was worried about, losing their presidential circle status on like the Venture X at the end of the year and all these different cards, you can still get it for free with your BILT Mastercard. And there are a bunch of Reddit threads outlining this exactly, of people who have done it and are currently doing it, as we're talking about it more. But BILT's card in presidential status, it doesn't have to be just a BILT card, but any World Elite Mastercard should do. And essentially, all you have to do is what this guy mentioned before, Killicam. He said he was able to get president status. All you have to do is email this email right here and make sure you include your membership number. So that's going to be on your account. Also, a picture of your World Elite Mastercard and this code right here, which is essentially fulfilling their agreement that they have on the back end with Hertz and World Elite Mastercard and what have you, and you should get the Hertz presidential status. And some people have questions about that, with like, how long is it valid for? Is it only 1 year and what have you? And essentially, A lot of this is a little bit in the weeds, and there's no direct answer for it necessarily. But as far as we can tell, essentially, it's going to be based on the contracts that are behind the scenes that you can't see anyway between Hertz and World Elite Mastercard. So if there's a contract that states this partnership that you're allowed presidential status with these specific cards, and it's a 5-year contract, okay, cool. You should have presidential status for those 5 years. If the contract comes out, goes out in 6 months, then okay, cool. Either they end it completely and you don't have it anymore, or they renegotiate a new contract for the future, and you'll just have to re-add all of your things to get that status back, or it might just happen automatically. Who really knows? So a lot of that is just what's happening on the back end that we have no idea anyway. But at the very least, again, if you're worried about losing your presidential status with Venture X or all these other cards, you can get it with your no annual fee BILT card or just World Elite Mastercard at that. Anybody with your Strata Premiers, your Freedom Flexes, your Saver Ones, all these different cards can give you that. So another benefit right there as well. Now, the first thing, which I think is the most amount of value, it's the most slept on thing in the entire world, and I've made videos on it, which is the Mastercard Luxury Hotel Program. That's right. I mean, I made a video on this. So for those of you who are unaware, for those in the back, here you go. And by the way, this is something you have to register for. So if you're going to register, just make sure you put your eligible World Elite Mastercard card number in here. Usually it takes like a day or so to actually get authenticated, and then you can now access the account. But the most important thing is when you log in and you're directed to this portal right here where you can discover hotels. Now, check this out. So let's say, for example, we wanted to go to Washington, D.C., right? So let's book a hotel. Let's check this area. So let's see what this program has. Okay, cool. So some of you may know I did a whole video breaking down the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, D.C. when I went there, and I booked through American Express's Fine Hotels and Resorts for a very similar price to this. Now, anytime you see this right up here, Mastercard Luxury Hotel, like this green little thing right here, those are ones that are going to be coming with the elite benefits of this specific hotel. So for example, like this hotel right here, room right here is $665 and the taxes are already included. And with this fee right here and booking through MasterCard in this way, you're going to be getting daily breakfast for two, which should be about, $60, $70 every single day of your stay that you can use towards anything on breakfast in the morning. Room upgrade when available, which is very similar to every other program out there. Also, a hotel credit for food and beverages up to $100 equivalent. So, like I ate at the Michelin star restaurant by Jose Andres out there, the Bazaar, and I was able to use my $100 credit on that meal itself. So, that's something you could do too by booking with MasterCard. Early check in and late checkout when available. The only difference here is FHR is guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout. However, now going through a couple of these hotels, the late checkout has never been an issue, and I've been able to get 4 p.m. checkout regardless anyway, just by asking them. But of course, it's not guaranteed. And if you look right here, one of the more interesting things, if you were just going to book direct for this Waldorf Astoria, right? If you were just going to go on Hilton.com and just book this Waldorf out of pocket in cash, you could have add-ons here like late checkout, and I'll tell you why in just a second why this you should never pay for this whatsoever if you're booking through MasterCard. And if you look for the entire stay for taxes and fees and all this stuff in a Hilton Honors discount, $621 in cash, whereas we just spec'd out $665. So about a $40 difference, but you're getting $100 to use at the on-site spa, at the on-site restaurant, and probably about $60 or $70 that you can use the following day for breakfast. So about $160, $170 in food credits at like one of the nicest hotels and some of the best restaurants in the world for just $40 more than what they're specking out by booking direct. And that's not even factor in, like if you were going to pay for the late checkout of 2 p.m. only for $70 extra, forget it. Now you're overpaying for this specific hotel. The reason I say it doesn't matter to buy the late checkout or not is that when you're booking through MasterCard, what a lot of people don't know is you're essentially booking through a travel agent, right? Like if these Travelocity, all these different commercials out there, you essentially have a travel agent that is MasterCard, but you don't need to contact anybody. You don't need to talk to anybody if you don't want to. You can quite literally book, like I just showed you there, spec it out, book the hotel, and then go there that day. And you don't have to talk to anybody. There's no deposit, and you just pay when you get to the hotel. Okay, cool. But what this essentially does, as them being your travel agent, is they will use the Hotel Partners Preferred program. And if you watch my video on this, where I went to the Andaz Hyatt in Savannah, Georgia, I booked it myself online, no down payment, no nothing, same exact way as I just showed you, and it came through on their end as Hyatt Privé. If you're unfamiliar with Hyatt Privé is essentially Hyatt's preferred hotel program, and this is going to be giving you the same, $100 credit, the daily breakfast too, a welcome amenity, the early check-in, late checkout. But to do this, you would need your own travel agent that allows you to book through Hyatt Privé. But since we have Mastercard, we don't need a travel agent. That is our travel agent, and that's what's giving us our outside value. And the benefit of that is when you're booking through the hotel's preferred program, is that you get a little bit more negotiation power, so to speak. So they're a little bit more lenient to you. You have a little bit more status. You have a little bit more status than even above people who have, Hilton Gold members, Hilton Diamonds, or even, Hyatt Globalists in some degrees. I'm treated better just by booking in this way with MasterCard than people who have the highest statuses of all of these hotels whatsoever. Because think about it, if I was going to book this Waldorf Astoria as a, Hilton Gold or Diamond member, I mean, I'm not getting daily breakfast for two. I'm getting at most my up to $50 per day in dining credits that could be used towards, breakfast and could be used towards the restaurant. But in this case, I'm getting $170 in food credits, and that's also daily breakfast. So every single day, I'm getting another like $70, $60 day in and day out. So it's a really, really powerful way to book. And more often than not, it's not that much more expensive than booking through direct. And on par, if not cheaper, than all the other programs like Amex FHR, like Chase's Edit, Capital One's Premier, VentureX Premier collection, all these different collections, and you get that all through a card like the BILT Mastercard that is World Elite, and it's completely free with no annual fee. And that is my favorite part of having a World Elite Mastercard, and what I think is totally slept on. And I'm trying to have everybody start trying Mastercard because I just think there's like so much value that's slept on. Absolutely. And another thing this also does is it doesn't have you locked into a particular brand. Like, oh, I only have Hilton status or only have Hyatt status. I mean, you can see right here we have a Hilton. We have a Marriott here. We got a Ritz Carlton and whatnot. You have all these different things, Four Seasons, and you're going to be getting still through most of these, your $100 credit, your daily breakfast too, all these different things. The only downside is, however, is you have to pay in cash. All right, you can't pay with points by booking through this type of program. But in my world, in a lot of cases, like the one I did in Savannah, Georgia, like I was able to technically cash out like 23,000 Chase points into my bank account as $230 in cash, and then get back $175 in food credit. It's something I'm really leaning into more lately, and I'm having so much fun with that. But of course, for some of these stays that are many days, or very, very expensive in cash price, of course, a lot of it booked with points is going to make sense. And that's fine because, again, this is a $0 annual fee card and you can just do it whenever you want, or you don't have to do it. And it's no harm, no foul to you. One interesting use case for the BILT card is, well, one little underlying thing that you probably shouldn't know, and I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it anyway, is MasterCard on the phone. Of course, you're booking with MasterCard. They expect you to pay with MasterCard when you get to the hotel. But when you book in this way, you don't put a deposit down, you don't do anything, you just put a card on file. The hotel holds the room for you, and then when you go to that hotel that day, you just pay with said card. And what I found in my experimentation is that, even though they tell you you have to cash, check out with a MasterCard, I found that to not be true. And you can use a Visa, you can use an Amex card, you can use all these different things, and I don't believe they have been strict in any way whatsoever. Of course, I'm going to keep testing, but that opens the door to a lot of different possibilities. And in my mind, of course, if you have a welcome offer to hit, cool, use that. There are some other things here as well that upgraded points also mentions, like McAfee free trials. So receive 30-day free trial, 1 year membership discounted at $30 every single year. I don't know if anybody uses McAfee anymore, but hey, listen, it's there. They also mention here platinum MasterCard benefits here, like enjoy priceless experiences such as a helicopter ride over Paris, dining with Michelin chef, playing bucket list golf. So everything that you've kind of seen with American Express and their experiences, MasterCard can do a lot of the same things as well, and has a lot of different partnerships all over the world. Also, if you look right here, they mention what I just mentioned with the MasterCard Hotel Collection. Also, MasterCard Airport Concierge, which is 15% on airport meet and greet services when using a World Card. So I guess there's a way you can book through them to have people pick you up, at taxis, and those signs they put out there like, oh, Anthony Venture, we're coming to pick you up. You can get discounts on that as well. And here's something I found interesting. In conjunction with the 15% off for meet and greet and whatnot, it actually says here, fast track through immigration, need assistance with baggage or departure, a chauffeur, all these different things. And if you look a little lower, the services are available at over 700 airports worldwide with multilingual concierge greeters and whatnot. So I wonder if anyone's ever done this and how valuable it actually is.
when traveling in different countries. What do you guys think?
There's Lyft credits, so if you use your card just 3 times each month for Lyft rides, you could receive $5 off your next ride purchase. That is not exclusive to BILT card, as what they might lead you to think. No, that is exclusive to Mastercard World Elite cards. That's right. I believe all of them get this exact credit. And another thing they didn't mention here, which if you have a Lyft ride that is taking you to your airport, you actually get 10% off on that ride itself. So it's something a little tidbit to know that a lot of people aren't aware of, but they told me that over the phone. You also get a DoorDash Dash Pass membership. I know some people who have the Chase Sapphire cards. They just got some bump on DoorDash. I'm not even fully sure, but this also may come with a 3-month DoorDash Dash Pass membership and $5 off your first order. So that's interesting if your card comes with it. And another thing to know is not all Mastercard World Elite cards are created equal. So you have to make sure that your card is eligible for certain things. But this is just a general encompassing thing that most World Elite Mastercards actually give you. Shop Runner that usually comes on Amex cards as well. Also, in a lot of the cases, you can get secondary or primary car rental coverage for damage and theft. This a lot of people talk about being very important to them on some of their cards, but hey, listen, if you can get it for a no annual fee option, cool, that helps as well. Some of these you do better on some other cards, and it's a little higher on other cards. Cell phone protection is interesting just by having World Elite Mastercard paying for these cards. Theft damage up to 800 per claim, and which is also, much higher than some other cards out there. A lot of people don't even realize that these benefits are just coming through Mastercard benefits, not necessarily the card themselves. And a few other things that are a little bit exciting here and there. And then there's one last thing that still, like, it's very hard to find a clear answer on. I think it's fairly interesting, but I don't know if it's necessarily worth it, and that is MasterCard Travel Pass provided by Dragon Pass. That's right. There's something called Dragon Pass, and Dragon Pass is essentially, I believe, a company in Guangzhou, which is like the southern part of China, without getting too much into the weeds, that it has a similar footprint apparently to Priority Pass with 1,300 plus airport lounges that you can go to, and you have access to this completely for free with your World Elite Mastercard. And for certain cards, apparently it gives you 4 complimentary annual visits towards the lounges that are in Dragon Pass. And from what I understand, some people in Discord mentioned most of these lounges are in China and a lot of other places as well, but a lot of it is concentrated there. But the only issue is I have not ever been able to find any concrete information on Dragon Pass for American card holders. I've seen like Prince of Travel right here talks about in Canada that you seems to be a clear partnership where your Mastercards are giving you, like 4 to 8 visits towards Dragon Pass, every single year just by having the Mastercard World Elite cards. I don't know really anything about Canada or their credit cards and whatsoever, but listen, if you're a Canadian and you can provide any better insight on these and what have you, especially from the World Elite Mastercard side, okay, cool. I talked to them on the phone personally, and they had really no clue of many things. They basically just told me on the phone, like, it's pretty much a pass that you have access to, but you still have to pay $32 per person every time you go to them. So there's no complimentary visits whatsoever. Maybe the person on the phone had no idea what they were talking about, but that's the information I got by asking them this directly for US consumers. So if you're Canadian, have insight, let me know. If you're someone in the US too that also has insight, let me know. But I thought it was interesting nonetheless that it's given on these cards, but very, very hard to find something concrete on what you get, or even if we do get it whatsoever. So, and in the meantime, of course, if you want to see that entire MasterCard luxury hotel program, you can watch this video right here in the corner. I'm sure you're going to get a ton of value from it, and I'm going to outline everything I just talked about in this video today. So, as always, thank you guys so much for being here, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much.